My time is now.
Okay, so after the intro video, I hope you did subscribe. I just hope that you subscribe. If you have come this far in this video and you haven't subscribed, I don't know. I don't know why you're doing this to me. But anyways, it's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay. We're not going to force anyone. But please subscribe. Anyways, yeah, so in the devotion video that I posted on Monday, I mentioned that, or I promised to you guys that I will share a testimony, all right, stemming from the devotion that I shared. And after shooting that video on Monday, it was like around 4 p.m., God also showed me His goodness. And so I have another testimony to share, of which I'm going to share that testimony instead. Yeah, because it's still fresh. So why not? So as I mentioned earlier, I did the devotional video around 4 p.m. and usually around 6 p.m. we have what's this, a dormitory worship, and we usually finish around 7 p.m. So what happened was, after the worship, I somehow felt like I should go and take a walk, or I was inspired to go and take a walk, or God told me to just go and take a walk. Well, my plan was, before I went for worship, my plan was to go to worship and come back to my room and prepare for the following day, because the following day was going to be quite busy. So I really wanted to prepare. And yeah, somehow I went and took a walk. And as I was taking a walk, I was just telling God, you know what, God, probably you're the one who's making me to take this walk, and you know why you want me to take this walk. So please make sure that I don't come back to this room um the same, or when I come back to this room, I may you show me that you hear my prayers, and that you care for me, or something like that, somewhere along those lines. It's not the exact words, because I'll be lying, but it's somewhere along those lines. And so I was taking a walk, and somehow, from quite a long distance, I noticed a woman who was who was like exercising or something like that. I literally noticed her from a distance, and I let it slide. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, she's also walking. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, because we were going to meet at an intersection, right? Because she was coming from one direction, I was coming from another direction, and we were just going to meet somehow. And I was like, okay, I hope that she goes ahead of me before I meet her. Anyways, that happens because we're going to end up going the same direction either way. So that happens, she goes ahead of me, and I'm just walking behind her, and I'm just wondering who this woman is. And she ends up stopping, and then she does some she does some warm ups or anything like that. And now that she stopped, I'm like, oh no, I didn't want to pass this woman or anything like that, because I don't want to talk to anyone. Usually, when I pass someone, I usually greet. And I'm like, not today. I don't want to greet today. So, what I do is, yeah, guys, I know it's quite bad. It's okay. I was just not in the right spirit, if I can put it that way. So, I looked the other direction, because she was the other side. I looked the other direction, and I hope the mic is working. I looked the other direction, hoping that I won't see who it is, and hoping that she won't see who I am, and we just pass each other. Because my plan was to take a walk and go and sit at a certain place where I usually sit, just to communicate with God and all that. So she she then I suppose she looks at me, and then she was like, Sasha, hi. She knew me, and of course I knew her. We're in the same batch and all that. So she was like, "Oh, how are you?" and all that. And we started to talk, and just for a short period of time. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're just going to talk, and then we're going to separate ways. And somehow, I ended up walking with her, and instead of me going to sit where I usually sit, which was like maybe 2 meters away, I end up walking with her throughout. I end up taking a walk with her, or end up doing brisk walking with her. And we end up, yeah, guys, it ended up being a long walk. And as we were walking, she was just telling me, she was just, I don't know, she just somehow started to tell me about her story and asking me how I am, because as a foreign student, it gets difficult sometimes, when you're far away from home. Sometimes you do feel lonely, and it gets real. You do feel lonely. and she was just telling me about her experience, on how she 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 has traveled to what's this place, Rwanda, and I don't know the other places she mentioned, but in Africa though, I think it's Uganda. Yes, Uganda. She's a Filipino, by the way, so it was quite exciting to know that she has traveled to African countries. It was really amazing. And she was just telling me about her stories and how sometimes she felt lonely and how God came through for her, at a moment when she was like low, 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 and God came through for her. God did the most, like a huge thing for her. And as she was talking, I knew that this was definitely God. I knew that God was speaking to me through her. And I just realized that, this story that she's talking of, yes, she might be thinking that she's just mentioning her stories and all that, but to me, it was a reassurance that, you know what, God cares for his children. You know what, God still cares for me. Because remember, I mentioned that I wanted God to show me that he cares for me, before I took the walk. And we end up sitting at church. Well, there were stairs there at church. We end up sitting at church. I think I'll show you, I'll look for a picture and I'll show you exactly where. We end up sitting at church, and um, yeah, we really. Oh, she mentioned one story that really resonates with me, and that was really in my mind at that moment. That was really draining me at that moment. And when she shared that story, I was like, "This is God," and whew, yeah. We were just sitting, and then she ends up asking me, how am I, how is it living in the Philippines, and all that. And we just share and share and share. It was really an amazing moment. And although time was really ticking in my mind, because we both had a hectic day the following day, but it was worth it. My plan was probably I'll just walk for like an hour and then go back and quickly prepare. But we ended up talking from about 6 for like an hour or so, or 2 hours. And because it was from 7 till maybe 8:30 or something like that. And we ended up praying for each other at the end. And it's just so amazing. She also shared a story that really, guys, when I say it really resonated with me, or it actually helped me, to trust God and to surrender fully to Him. It's I don't know, but I just knew that it was God, and God will find ways. If He needs to speak to you, He will find any means, even if it's against your will, even if it's against what you have planned. But God will find a way to speak to you. That's what I learned, and it's just amazing that when I went back, I just knew. I was like, okay, God, I know that you're with me. I know that you care for me. And hence I just need to trust you and fully surrender to you. You know, because yeah, no, each and every time there are different challenges that you are faced with, whether it's spiritual, whether it's whether it's spiritual, whether it's financial, whether it's relationship wise, yeah, no, that one, yeah. I think I need to share. Oh God, guys, to that Christian lady who is struggling relationship wise, not struggling per se, but you have decided to do things God's way and to trust God and to wait on God for the person that He has for you. Um, I'll do another video on that, but please don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Have faith on Him and continue to wait, because He's got something good in store for you. So, yeah, I wasn't planning on saying this, but, anyways, God does care for you. And as for the other testimony, guys, it was just on how God came through financially. Yeah, out of like, not that I was struggling, but it was at a moment where I really needed money, and there was no ways I was going to get money in that short space of time, you know. So yeah, no, God really provided. I might share it later on, but not today. Today was just on sharing on how God came through right after I shared that devotional video. And when I came back home, I was like, okay, God, should I share the devotion or should I quickly share the testimony that I have today? But I thank Him because He's very faithful, and it's been 10 minutes. I've been speaking. I hope that this helps you. This is just a testimony. I don't know what to even call this, but all I know is God cares and He loves you, and He doesn't want no harm to happen to you. And oh, I love this dress. By the way, guys, this dress was made by my mom. Let me. Yeah, beautiful, right? Yeah. So if you want tailor-made and you reside in South Africa, just comment down or get me on my socials. I'll post it here. But yeah, no, she's a very good fashion designer. Yeah, it's a very nice dress. I love it. I love it. But anyway, that's totally out of the scope.